I'm Chloe, if you don't know me already. Today I'm doing a yoga flow based on the current energies and bringing them into balance. I did a bit of a tarot reading recently. If you would like to watch it, I'm going to drop it in the description. So this flow is really trying to bring in like our masculine and feminine energies into balance and really ground in, because we are in Capricorn season. So really going into that earth sign energy, activating the root chakra, but also balancing that masculine and feminine. We have the South Node in Libra, which is a feminine sign, that's all about balance and harmony. So we're going to have some balance postures in there, which also activate that root chakra. It's ruled by Venus, so we're looking at that feminine energy there. We had Mars come into Capricorn on the 4th, which is quite a masculine energy. It's quite driven, likes to get what it wants. On one hand, that's quite positive being in Capricorn, because it means we can be quite action orientated and creative towards achieving our goals. On the other hand, it can also mean we're a bit gung-ho, maybe a bit aggressive and argumentative, to like get things done our way. So trying to come back into that sort of South Node energy of Libra and that feminine to balance out maybe some of that out of balance Mars, especially when it's in Capricorn, a very earthy kind of fixed sign. But to balance it all, we are going to go into that root chakra. To bring in that the Mars into balance as well, we're going to do some sacral chakra opening, and so lots of balancing postures. We're going to bring it down to the mat where we're really opening that sacral chakra, bringing it down to the ground, going into those more feminine poses with it. So let's get started. Coming down onto the mat, making sure you've got blocks or books if you need them, maybe a cushion, a strap, dressing gown, belt, or other long piece of fabric which you might need. Otherwise, rolling down, maybe onto the forearms, just coming down to your back, however you feel comfortable doing that. And just taking a few breaths. Inflating that chest and belly, and then letting it go, exhaling. Grounding down, arriving onto that mat. Calming down all those energies and centering. Connecting into your natural breath, noticing the inhales and exhales. Feeling that ground beneath you, supporting you, connecting you to the earth. Maybe you're closing down the eyes here, detaching from the mental buzz and the chatter. This is your time now on the mat. When you're ready, we're going to take those feet out to the edges of the mat, the knees still bent, grounding down through those poles, maybe taking them a little bit wider out. And we're going to sway the knees from side to side, allowing them to fall in towards the mat. Rolling those feet onto the heels and letting them sway to the side. Just awakening that sacral chakra. Awakening those hips. Lovely. Bring those feet back to center, knees still bent. Lifting one leg up towards the sky, rotating the ankle. Doesn't matter which leg, because we're going to do the other one immediately afterwards. Lovely. Giving the back of that thigh a rub to wake that hamstring up. We're going to bend and straighten, bend and straighten, bend and straighten as we rub and support. hamstring. We want to really wake up those hamstrings and those ankles. Those balancing poses, we're going to be standing on one leg. We're going to swap legs, rotating the ankle round, rubbing the back of that hamstring. Make sure you're going both ways when you're rotating. Wakey, wakey ankle. Bending, straightening. You might want to have a wall near you for some of these balance poses, or bring a chair to the mat so you can hold onto the back of a chair or something if you're not feeling too confident with your balance today. Lovely. Bringing the feet back down, taking the arms out wide into a T position, raising the feet up, bringing the knees towards the chest, and allowing the knees to sink down towards the mat. Gaze can be forward at the head or down the arm. If you'd like a little bit of support beneath those knees, you can pop a block under them if you want some support there. Otherwise, just letting them go where they want to go. Lovely. When you're ready, switching the knees over the other side. Lovely. Maybe you gaze down that arm. Just waking up that lower back, the outer edge of the hip, lower spine. Bring it back to the centre. When you're ready, we're going to roll onto our sides, bring the palms to the mat and come up to a seat. So knees bent in front of you, grasping one foot, guiding it towards the pelvis, followed by the other which lays in front of it. Nastakasana can have blocks below the knees, like so, or a cushion or block beneath the tailbone just to add some height, making sure that spine is nice and long, sitting up nice and straight. Lovely. Taking one hand, doesn't matter which, it's going to do both sides, behind, planting it behind you, behind the sit bones, then taking the other hand to the opposite knee and twisting to look behind you, just awakening that spine. Lovely. When you're ready, switching it up, palm goes behind the sit bones, opposite hand to opposite knee, levering yourself round, inhaling to twist, exhaling to relax into it. Connecting to the breath, grounding in, back to centre. Beautiful. Now we're just going to switch over the sides of our crossed legs so we're nice and even. So opposite leg comes to the pelvis and the other leg in front. Fabulous. I'm going to take the hands and clasp them behind the back and just puff the chest out and sway a little. Maybe you do some rolls in the hips here. Forward and down, forward and down. If you find you can't clasp the hands behind the back, you can always grab a strap or a dressing gown belt, twist it around their hands, but behind your back, like so. Lovely. And when you're ready, you can lean forward over those legs. You can come to a block here with the hands clasped behind the back or head to a cushion. Now we're going to take the strap round the hands and just open the shoulders, flossing them open, making sure they're at a comfortable distance apart, nice and taut on that strap. If you don't have a strap, you can always just rotate the arms up, down and round. Otherwise, just flossing. There we are, inhaling, arms up, down and round, up, down and round, up, down and round. Lovely. Popping that to one side. bending the knees and sending the feet planting to the mat. Guide one foot back in towards the pelvis. Lift the other foot and clasp it in your hand. Guide it towards the body, towards the opposite armpit. Grasping the shin with the hand, or maybe you can hook the shin onto the forearm and just swaying that hip open, cradling and rocking it. Lovely. If you're not comfortable here, maybe you could do some more of the window wide hip sways. Otherwise, switching side, same thing on the other side, opposite foot comes to the pelvis, rocking that foot, cradling that leg, opening that hip, feeling a nice stretch up here. Lovely. Now we're going to spin towards the short edge of the mat and have one leg bent at the knee in front of us, foot towards the hip, but the foot is flexed. See where that comes to. And allow the other foot and leg to fall behind you. Pointing out our little gun. And then as we pull that gun in towards us, we're going to swivel on the sit bones to the centre, so both knees are pointing up. Swiveling round and allowing that front knee to come down to the mat, foot is flexed, and this back leg is also bent behind us in our dynamic deer. Bring that gun back towards you, raising the knees, swiveling, pivoting on the hip, sit bones, back to the other side. Point your gun back out. I'm going to do a few more of these. So, inhale the gun towards you. Exhale those knees back down, gun goes out. Lovely. And we are going to come back to centre and swivel the knees under us, coming into a tabletop. Stepping one foot forward, knees stacked over the ankle into a bit of a lunge. Other leg is straight behind us on the knee. You can be up on blocks here to add a bit more space. And we're going to circle the hips open. So coming down, sending the hips back, straightening the legs, bending that knee, hips come forward, down and round. Maybe connect to the breath. Make sure you go both ways. Lovely. And sending that knee back into the tabletop position, sending the other foot forward, and do the same thing on the other side. Remembering if you're up on blocks, pulling the leg back to straight, bending the knee and coming forward, sinking into those hips as we bend the knee, pulling the knee back and the hips go back. Just finding your own motion going both directions. Lovely. Now we're going to extend one leg forward, doesn't matter which one, while the other knee is bent. And just try to sit down, bending this knee, while the other leg is extended. Picking that leg up and planting it into the ground. So knee is bent, front leg is extended, toes are pointing up to the ceiling, really flexing that foot so that the whole leg is engaged. Lovely. We're going to raise the arms, take a big inhale and hinge at the hips, not at the shoulders, not folding all the way down, just bringing the arms out in front of us until our knee is just behind the shoulder. Now see if you can swim those arms open like breaststroke and reach the arm to grab around the knee and find a bind in your sage pose. Maybe you would like to use a strap here. So you're swimming the arms open and then putting a strap behind you to guide the arms behind you like so. Good. When you're ready, extending the opposite leg forward, bending the other knee. Planting that foot on the mat. Inhaling the arms up, hinging forward at the hips, exhaling forward. Swimming those hands behind us, hugging that knee, finding that bind, extending those toes up towards the ceiling of the straightened leg. In your sage pose. Lovely. When you're ready, coming onto the knees and facing towards the long edge of the mat. We're going to extend one leg out, up on the knee on the other, can be on your blocks here. We're just going to sink the hips down and lean forward, otherwise you can be up on your hands. Maybe you can open that foot out to be flexed, pointing up at the ceiling. Don't have to be coming down as low as this, just finding where you're comfortable and where you feel that stretch that's a comfortable point for you. Lovely. Now, bending that extended leg and coming up into a sort of kneeling warrior. So, hips are facing the long edge of the mat, guiding that knee out, toes are facing the short edge of the mat. Open the arms out and look down one arm. This arm. The one that's facing towards the bent knee. Take a breath and we're going to reverse it. You can come onto a block here to reverse and feel that stride stretch in the body. Maybe you can touch the mat. Lovely. And we're going to take that into a kneeling side angle. Maybe you bring your block around to the foot on the bent knee and stretch that side body open. Can bring a hand to just rest on the inner knee or thigh or shin or touch the mat. Lovely. And swivel the hips round to face that extended leg and come into a half Hanumanasana. Can be on your blocks here and just pulse a little bit. We're not folding all the way over. Short, sharp breaths in and out. Lovely. Spin it back round, coming onto the opposite knee. I'm going to take that on the other side. So swaying the hips forward and back. And bring your blocks if you need them. Maybe you come up onto that heel here. Trying to connect to the breath here. Maybe as you come down you exhale, maybe as you come forward you inhale. Lovely. Bending that knee and angling that foot out towards the short edge of the mat. So got a nice knee stacked over the ankle here, like a nice right angle. Inhale those arms up in the kneeling warrior, gazing down the fingers. When you're ready, we're going to reverse it. Remembering if you need your block here, you can also just have arm come to the thigh, resting rather than putting the weight in. Take it back to centre, taking it into a side angle, remembering where you want to put your arm or block. Feeling that nice stretch to the side body. Lovely. sending that pelvis round, extending that foot out, and doing those little pulses in that half Hanuman. Remembering your blocks here if you need them. Lovely. Sending that foot back to kneeling. I'm just going to inhale the arm open, do some dynamic threading. So twisting the chest open, arm comes up to the sky. As we exhale, arm comes down and threads under the opposite arm. Not coming all the way down to the mat. Just awakening those shoulders some and twisting a bit. Now we're going to swap sides, so grind down through those palms and knees. Inhaling one arm up. Exhale, send it under. Threading. Lovely. While we're here, grinding down through those palms, inhaling, looking up, dipping that spine, exhaling, pushing the ground away, rounding the spine in our cat-cows, making sure those knees are aligned under the hips and those hands under the shoulders. Flow with the breath. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Lovely. Now bring the toes flexed onto the balls of the feet as we sit back onto them. Just stretching those toes out some and sitting the feet, the hips onto those heels. Giving a nice toe stretch if that's comfortable for you. You can also stack some blocks and just put them beneath the sit bones and sit back onto the blocks for your toe stretch here. Bit of support there. Lovely. When you're ready, you're going to push down through the palms and roll, send those hips up to the sky into our Adho Mukha Savasana. Can have a soft bend in the knees here to ensure you have a long spine. Otherwise, shifting the weight from foot to foot, seeing if we can bring opposite heel down towards the mat on each foot, walking that dog, walking it all the way up to the top of the mat, where we are going to take the feet out as wide as the mat and just fold. Can have blocks here to bring that ground up. Can have a soft bend in the knee here also. Now, grasping opposite elbows, we're just going to sway and let that head hang, shifting the weight from side to side, or maybe we're pulsing up and down, finding a rhythm in our ragdoll. Really activating those hamstrings. And when you're ready, you can come back to those blocks again and come up onto the tiptoes as the knees start to bend. Send the hips down towards the mat and then up onto the toes, sending the heels back down towards the mat and folding. You can do this with or without the blocks. Connecting to the breath. So inhale to squat, exhale, fold. Inhale to squat, exhale, fold. Do 3 more. 1, 2, 3. End in your fold and roll up through the spine to standing. Bring your feet together a comfortable distance apart. Ground down through the feet, engage the legs, roll the shoulders down away, standing tall in your mountain. Fabulous. Take a breath, maybe I'm going to bring the hands to heart center and just ground in here. When you're ready, we're going to come and see if we can roll up onto the toes, the balls of the feet, and roll back down. If you're happy with this, see if you can have the arms in. And stand really tall in one long line, really engaging that core. Exhale, bring the arms down, the feet down. Inhale, everything's engaged, one long line. Exhale, slowly back down. Lovely, just inviting that imbalance in. Fantastic. When you're ready, I'm going to lift my right foot and send it towards the back of the mat. Hips are in line with the short edge of the mat. Bring the arms up into your high lunge. Bring them maybe to your hips as you just plant the foot, the back foot out into a slight angle to come into those warrior feet, making sure that knee is stacked over the ankle. You might want to play around with your stance here. Should be about a leg and a half distance apart. You should be able to draw a line from heel to heel, either at an angle slightly or directly a straight line. Making sure those hips are pointing towards the front edge of the mat. Fantastic. Inhale those arms back up in that warrior. Strong through those legs and feet. Strong foundation. And if you can, sweep those arms behind, clasping the arms behind, puffing out the chest. Fabulous. Maybe you can use your strap here again, or maybe you can grasp the elbows instead. Either way, we're going to exhale forward, folding. It's really strong through those legs. Folding that torso down to hover level with that thigh on the inside of the thigh. We're not resting the weight on the thigh. Lovely. Bring the hands down to the mat or to your blocks. I'm just going to pulse back and forth, straightening and bending that leg. Maybe bring that back foot in a little and then fully straighten that front leg. There's a softness to that knee, so we're not overextending. Can be on your blocks here in your pyramid. Nice long spine, looking down at the mat. Invitation to fold forward a little, only if that's comfortable for you in that hamstring. No pushing. Wonderful. When you're ready, stepping it forward, rolling back up again into that mountain. And we're going to take that on the other side. So raising the opposite leg up off the mat, stepping it back into that high lunge, up on the ball of that foot, knee stacked over ankle, arms come up. Fabulous. Maybe you want to bring the hands to the hips instead as you adjust that back foot to bring it flat. Play with your stance here, make sure your hips are towards the front edge of the mat in your warrior one. Remembering those feet alignments, grasping the hands behind, really grounding down through the feet, puffing out that chest with that clasp. Again, remembering options here. Exhaling that chest forward to the inside of the thigh. Not resting the weight on the thigh, we're hovering it. Bring the hands down to the mat or to the blocks, pulsing that knee forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Maybe adjusting that back foot slightly. It's still at a bit of an angle, but just so we can get that leg comfortably straight at the front. Maybe you exhale over, maybe you're on your blocks here in your pyramid. Spine is long. Lovely. Stepping it back forward. Rolling back up into that mountain again. Now I'm going to step out the long edge of the mat. So our feet are about a leg and a half distance apart. You may want your blocks to come to the front of the mat here. And we're going to fold forward in a deep, wide-legged forward fold. Hands can come to the mat or the blocks. I'm going to walk the hands one way, or walk with your blocks and walk them the other way. Lovely. And then back to centre. You can push into your block and inhale the arm open to the sky, or you can do this without your blocks. Bring it back to centre, switch over, opening out to the other side. Lovely. Maybe connect to your breath here. Inhale, open as you twist. Exhale the arm down. Inhale the arm open as you twist. Exhale it down. You feel a nice stretch through that groin, pelvis, back of the hamstrings area. Fabulous. Now, coming back up, I'm going to start walking those feet back together to be in a mountain facing the long edge of the mat. Lovely. Lifting one leg up, doesn't really matter which one because we're going to do all of this on the opposite side immediately after. I'm just going to clasp our hands around that knee and draw it up towards the chest and see if we can balance. You might want to bring yourself to a wall here or have a chair. Otherwise, focusing on one unmoving spot on the floor or the wall, your dristi, this is your gaze, is going to help you balance and find that unmoving point of focus. Lovely. When you're ready, maybe bring the hand to the opposite hip of the knee that is bent and start opening that knee out to the side, remembering that dristi or any support you might need with balance like a wall or a chair. Just guiding that hip open, fantastic, and bringing it down. Give everything a shake, shake it out. Woo. Now on that same side as we just had the knee bent, we're going to open that hip out and then see where we can bring it to up the leg. Maybe it's at the shin, maybe the knee, maybe you can grab it and bring it to the inner thigh in your tree pose, grounding down again through that standing foot, really rooting into the earth. Hands can come to heart center if that's accessible. Maybe you can inhale the arms all the way up. Lovely. If you're happy here, you can carry on playing where you are. If you were comfortable too and have the flexibility, maybe you can grab that foot and rest it on the inner opposite thigh crease in a sort of half locust leg. And if you're happy here, hands can come to heart center. Remembering your dristi, grounding down powerfully through that standing foot. Maybe you can bring the arms up overhead. Fabulous. Putting that leg back down, shaking it all out again. Have a little wiggle. Now, we're going to lift up that leg again and see if we can grab the foot this time. If you can, kick it into the hands, powerfully extending it forward. If that's not within reach, maybe you could try wrapping a strap or your dressing gown belt or some other sort of belt around it and pushing it into the strap. Lovely, and when you're ready, lower it down. Now we're going to come into a chair pose. So grounding down through those feet and sinking the hips down, squeezing those thighs together. Maybe you want to take a block here to help engage the thighs. Just going to turn to the side so you can see, making sure that tailbone is tucked rather than sticking the bottom out in this duck shape. We want that tailbone tucked in. Core is strong, legs are strong. Grounding down through the feet. Arms maybe come up here. Fabulous. If that was accessible for you and you felt comfortable there, maybe you could lift that leg we've been bending, cross it over the knee just above the thigh. Maybe you can hold that there and just stay there. Maybe if you're happy here, you can start lowering and sinking as we did into the chair. Maybe you keep your hands on the hips for this, really finding that Dristian focus for this balance. Maybe the hands come to heart center. Really opening that hip as we sink lower. Fabulous. Bring that foot back to the mat. Now I'm going to try that on the other side. Sinking back into that chair. Really engaging those thighs. Fantastic. Powering back up. Invitation to stay in your chair or try that one-legged chair that we just took on the other side. Opening that hip out. Wonderful. Bring that leg back down. Now we're going to bring that knee up and just squeeze it into the chest. So we're on the opposite side now. Finding that dristi. Bringing that hand to the hip, guiding the knee out, rotating it out. Fabulous. Letting it come back down, remembering where your tree is. Maybe it's here, maybe it's here, maybe it's here. Invite you to play with the arms, just remembering whatever you need to help you with that balance play. Option again to bring it into that half lotus tree. Fabulous. Bringing it back down, shake it all out. At any point, if you want to bring it back down and shake it out, feel free, just 'cause it's kind of fun. And bending that knee, seeing if you can grasp that foot again, remembering any options here, kicking that foot out, straightening that leg, grounding through that foot, and when you're ready, letting it go. Lovely. Now we're going to come back, open those legs out into that deep forward fold again. Folding forwards, remembering your blocks if you need them. Coming into that deep forward fold. Maybe this time we take the arms and clasp them. Opening that heart out, opening those shoulders a little more. Wonderful. Making sure those feet are facing the long edge of the mat. Bring the feet in, shuffle them in a little bit more to see if you can get them to about half a leg distance apart. See if you can bend the knees a little, soften those knees, and then if you can thread one arm down behind one leg. Lovely. Now see if you can do that with the other leg. Lovely. You might sort of do a bit of a skandasana lunge into one side to get that leg, that arm behind that leg and that shoulder down towards that bent knee. And you can just play with doing that motion. Lovely. Bring it back up to centre. Walk the feet back together. Invitation to come back into a tree or one of the balancing poses from earlier that you found accessible. Otherwise, bringing that knee up taking your peace fingers of the hand on the same foot, and you can clasp them around the big toe. Other hand comes to the hip, and we kick the foot out with those hands around the big toe, and see if you can start to guide that leg out to the side. Maybe you're holding onto a chair here. Maybe you can open the arm out. Maybe you're in one of the other former postures, playing with the balance there. Wherever you are, fabulous. Wonderful. Now we're going to switch over to the other side, You can take whatever balance pose on the opposite side again, or have a go at this one, clasping those peace fingers around the big toe, hand to opposite hip. Guide that leg out, strong through standing leg. Fabulous. Slight bend in the knee of the standing leg while grounding to give you a little bit of flex to move that hip open and shut, and bring it all down, hopefully slowly and mindfully. Embrace any wobbles, anywhere, anytime. Whenever we're coming into learning balance postures, you know, there's always going to be moments of wobbles, even when you're experienced, trust me. And our balance can be different on different days. So opening those feet back out, invitation to come back into those lunge twists. We're going to inhale the chest again into that wide leg deep forward fold. You can option to come back to the twists we did earlier, or threading that arm behind as you lunge to the side. Otherwise, if you're confident, we're going to try and come into a pose called Bird of Paradise. Option also to skip this and just watch, or like skip forward in the video. Otherwise, we're going to come into a deep forward fold first. Really bringing that chest, and turn to the side so you can see, towards the thighs. As we let the head hang around. You don't have to twist the side like I did. Now taking the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart, just play with the stance of your legs and see if you can send the shoulder down towards the knee and bring one arm behind you on that knee. Step the other foot in. So we're going to ground in through the standing leg, and the arm that is behind the knee, we're going to come up onto the tiptoes, reach the arms both up and behind, and try to form a bind here. Maybe you just stay here playing with this. Maybe you can ground down really powerfully through that standing leg and focusing that dristi as you lift the other leg up. It is a whole body motion. Core is strong, legs are strong. If you're happy here, maybe you can kick the leg up to straight in your Bird of Paradise. Bend that leg again, release the bind slowly, bring the leg down. Fabulous. If you're there with me, well done. Well done wherever you are. All of this can be working towards, step by step. There's flexibility, there's strength, there's balance, there's lots of pieces to put together, but hopefully you can be playing at any stage with any of these. The flexibility part, the strength part, or the balance part. If you're ready, we're gonna fold down again and take that Bird of Paradise on the other side. You've got this, guys. Woo! So playing with the feet distance apart, bending the knees a little, sending one arm through the leg, behind the knee, reaching back and round with the arms, bringing that foot on the tiptoes, closer towards the grounding standing leg. Grounding powerfully, embrace any wobbles, lifting that leg. Strong focus. Breathe, core is strong. Can we extend the leg and lower it? Slowly and mindfully release the bind and bring the foot back down to the earth. Wonderful, absolutely amazing. Now, open his legs back out, bending, hinging at the hips, back into that deep forward fold, and we're going to walk the hands towards the short edge of the mat and slide it into a tabletop. We've been here before, making sure your palms are under your shoulders, and knees are under your hips. Lovely. We're just going to sink back and push the palms forward. Bring the head to the mat. Maybe you bring the knees very wide to give room for the chest in your balasana. Maybe you're a bit higher here. And you want to cross the forearms and rest the head on the forearms here. And just rest here. If you get any pinching in the back. Breathe and connect that third eye chakra to the mat. Fabulous. Roll back up until you're in kneeling. Now, invitation to come into a reclined pigeon, as we've done quite a lot of hip opening. If you feel that's not within your range today, you can instead come into a deer. So coming onto, hands and knees, bring one foot forward and bend and stretch into that knee, coming into half Hanuman, sinking forward into that Anjanasana sort of pose, making sure that knee is stacked over the ankle. Lovely. Option to come into the deer, so walk the foot towards the opposite edge of the mat, and you can either slide the foot forward, slide the foot from the front of the mat towards the opposite hip and bring it as a tighter pigeon in and come down this way. Or you can have your deer legs and bend the back leg. So you can be in your deer here with a bent back leg, feet are both flexed, hips might be down towards the ground. Option to prop them up under the pelvis with a cushion. Can also pop a block under the pelvis, or find some stacking with your blocks to allow you to come down and bring that pelvis to ground into that mat. If you want to come into that pigeon, there's the option to slide that, bend at the knee and slide it towards the opposite side of the pelvis and extend the leg back, the back leg back, pointing those toes towards the back edge of the mat. Supporting yourself on the hands here can also be supporting the front carriage on the blocks here. Again, you can shove a block under there if you find that you're not very low down and you need some support so that you can ground down through those hips. This can again be the cushion as I demonstrated in the deer. Like so. If you're super happy here, you can start walking the hands forward and bringing the pelvis down, the torso down to the ground, and connect that third eye chakra towards the mat again. Can be on a cushion here, under the torso. Can have a block under the head here. Lots of options. If you were super happy doing that, you can maybe try, and you feel like you have the flexibility, you can maybe try having a straightened leg at the front. So we can come into that pigeon again. Wherever you are, make sure you're really breathing and connecting to the breath. It's a real powerful hip opener. If you're getting emotional, that's normal. Opening and releasing the hips can really open up the emotions. So if you want to come in and try a straight leg pigeon, I like to come onto the blade of the foot on the side and sort of bend the knee. If there's any pain or pulling sensations that are not comfortable, don't go deeper into this, back out. Allow the knee to come down to the mat as the opposite hip turns down also to the mat and grounds down into the mat. Back leg is pointing, extended powerfully, pointing towards the back of the mat. Take some deep breaths here. Start to walk the hands forward, bringing the torso down to the ground, making sure the foot is flexed to protect that knee. So this foot is flexed. Lovely. Wherever you are, slide it back and come into your balasana. Fabulous. Now we're going to do that on the opposite side, so bring that foot forward. Let's bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Remember whether you're coming into your deer. I'm going to do a deer on the opposite side as well, just to balance my body out. So, foot is flexed, knee is bent, other leg is behind, hips are aiming to come down and sink to the earth. Both feet are flexed to protect the knees. Otherwise, come into that pigeon, always flexing the foot. Maybe it comes towards the hip in this pigeon. Maybe you're working in towards your straight leg at the front pigeon. Be really careful here, really mindful. Wherever you are, with any sensations you're feeling, can be quite intense. Bringing that knee down towards the mat and pulling the back leg back, pointing it towards the back of the mat. Breathing. Remembering any props that you used, walking the chest forward, any blocks, any support you might need under the head or the pelvis. Breathing, connecting through that third eye. Can also have the arms bent here and support the face, the head, and the forearms. Walking the hands back in, sliding that knee back to be under the body in your table. Again, shifting the hips back over the heels, sliding the arms forward into your variation of your balasana, your child's pose. Take some deep breaths. Notice any emotions that have come up, accept them. Powerfully releasing hip open as we've done, really grounding in to the mat through that sacral chakra. And so much balancing, connecting to that root chakra. Lovely. When you're ready, we're going to slide down onto the forearms, bringing the chest down into our crocodile, laying on the belly. Cross the forearms in front of you and allow that head to rest on them. Take a few moments and a few breaths here. breathing, connecting back in. When you're ready, you're going to roll onto the back. Just have the knees bent, knees knocked together, and feet plant, hands down to the mat. Moving nice and slowly. When you're ready, lifting those feet, crossing the ankles, giving yourself a hug through those knees. Rock from side to side. Congratulate yourself. Had some really strong poses. Wherever you are, maybe you've got something to work towards. Maybe you cleared out some emotions. Maybe you've got some new goals. Maybe you've achieved something new today. Bring those feet back down towards the mat for a moment. Take a breath. Lift them back up. We're going to come into happy baby. If you know where you're going, go for it. Keep the tailbone against the mat, the shoulders down. Wrap the peace fingers around the big toes or the blade outer edge of the foot and pull those knees down towards the armpits. Maybe they sit on the outsides of the shoulders. Just sway, massaging that tailbone into the ground. Lovely. Bring the legs up and just have the feet facing the ceiling for a moment. Engage the core. Roll those ankles out again. Worked really hard on those ankles today. Really supported you standing on one leg. Lovely. Bring the feet back down towards the mat. Option to stay here with the knees knocked together. Invitation to bring hand to heart center. And one to the sacral chakra, to the lower abdomen. Just connect back into your breath here. If you would like to, bring your feet down to the mat, into your savasana, doing whatever you want to do with your arms. Maybe you're getting some cushions below the head or below the pelvis. Maybe you open the legs out. Find your comfort. Maybe the arms lay down beside you with the palms up. Maybe get a blanket and have a little chill fest here. Make yourself comfortable. I invite you to stay here while I roll up onto the side to seated. I'd like to thank you for joining me in your physical practice today. There will be a guided meditation as well that I will add on to the end. So stay in your Shavasana for this. Those who don't want to go into the meditation, Namaste. I thank you for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. I hope you found some release, some grounding, some balance, had a good stretch. Maybe you did something completely new today. Maybe there were things where you held back. And maybe those are things that your next steps, some things for you to work towards. Wherever you are is perfect for your body today. And so I thank you. So, in your Savasana, taking some deep breaths, relaxing into your body, Feeling yourself sinking into that mat. Taking a deep inhalation and an exhalation, letting it all go. Surrendering, feeling yourself supported by the earth below you. I invite you to bring a hand to the heart and one to the lower abdomen if they're not there already. Just feel the natural rhythm of the breath in the body. Feel yourself getting heavier, relaxing the shoulders, sinking down towards the mat, releasing the tension from the jaw, softening the face. If the eyes are not already closed, I invite you to close them or soften the gaze, feeling the tension melt from the face. As you feel the ground steady beneath you, supporting you, I invite you to imagine you are growing roots down into the ground from all the points of the body where you're in contact with the ground. Roots sprouting, digging deeper, burrowing into the ground. Connecting, resting, rejuvenating. I invite you on an inhalation to imagine a white light, a bright white light, like an orb before your eyes. In your mind's eye, see that bright light, focusing the gaze between the eyes, where the nose bridge meets between the eyes, in that third eye chakra. As you inhale, imagine it growing brighter. And as you exhale, imagine it spreading down to the throat, to the shoulders, soothing the throat, relaxing the shoulders, clearing out any unspoken words, any tension brought about by harmful words from others. On your next inhalation, imagine it growing brighter and again spreading down the body, down to the chest, to the heart. Allow it to amplify with every beat of your heart, to spread the light pulsing around the body, pumping through the bloodstream, cleansing all the cells, healing any pain you may have experienced, any heartache, any sadness. Let it cleanse it out, sending it down to the ground down through your roots. The ground will take it. It will support you. It will take the pain. So you can be free. On your next inhale, imagine the light spreading further down towards the stomach. Letting go of any discomfort. Filling the stomach with content. Allowing us to get in touch with our inner knowing, our gut feeling, our intuition. Releasing any worries we might be holding. Again, imagine it flushing down like water to the earth, cleansing. Send it down to the earth, who will support you and take your worries from you. On your next inhale, imagine this light spreaded to the rest of your body, to the sacral chakra, into the hips, the lower spine, releasing any tension, any frustration. Anything we feel is trapped. Any blockages we have with our creativity, with our passion. Send it down to the earth, flushing it all down to the earth. To heal. Sending it on your next inhalation down through the legs towards the feet that do so much for us, support us. Maybe we are tired of having to be so strong. Maybe we are tired on our journey and weary of having to be so strong. Flush it all down to the earth through the roots. The earth will be strong for us. On an exhale, relax and feel yourself freer, clearer, lighter. And thank the earth. Thank the earth for supporting us, for cleansing us, for nurturing us, for giving us all that we have on this planet, our food, our weather, our animals, ourselves, the trees who make the oxygen. Maybe now you imagine the light growing bigger, like a bubble around you. Maybe it gets brighter and bigger. Maybe it expands beyond you to others, to someone that is special to you, to a community that you care for, family, people you are connected with, that you know need healing. Feel yourself connecting and sending this healing out to others, to the animals, to the plants, to the people, to the elements. We are all connected. The light in us is the light in others. May we share it and appreciate it. And may we know it. I now ask you to tune back into my voice. Come back to the room. Sense the temperature of the room that you are in. Listen to the noises in the background. Maybe there is traffic, or birds, or voices. Tune back into the sounds of your environment, the surface you rest upon. Come back to the now. When you're ready, begin to wiggle the feet and wiggle the fingers, awakening from your rest. Maybe rocking the head from side to side, slowly. When you're ready, maybe have a big stretch. Ready to rise. Feeling lighter and rested, but ready to rise. And I invite you to blink open the eyes and come back to seated to continue with the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me for the physical part of the practice and this meditation. Maybe you've just done the meditation today, maybe you did both. But I thank you for allowing me to guide you. I hope you are feeling rested and rejuvenated, balanced and loving. Namaste.